What's up, collectors? Welcome to Films by Color. I am DJ, and this is my lovely wife, Grace. She's with me today because we're talking noirs. It's November, and that means it's time for Noirvember, which is a tradition in the film community that we've never done. It's a month-long challenge to watch as many noirs as you can, and we're going to do that here on the channel. We've got all of our film noirs back here on this table right behind us, and we are going to go through draft style and pick 10 each. So in our house, we usually go back and forth for movie nights, and I'll pick a movie that we'll watch, and then you'll pick a movie that we'll watch. So we thought we'd just carry that through November with the noir theme. So we're going to go back and forth. I'm going to pick 10. You're going to pick 10. Hopefully there's not too much crossover.
Yeah, we have 70, so I don't know how much crossover there's going to be.
There might be no crossover, but if there is, I do have a couple extras just in case that happens. But we've got a ton of movies back there. We're not going to get to all of them, obviously, but we're going to try to get to as many as we can. We may need a couple more Novembers to get through the whole collection. But it's going to be fun going back and forth. I'm excited to see which ones you pick. We're going to do it draft style, just like we did with the musicals back in Musical May earlier this year. I'll let you go first.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Dame's first. You pick your first one, and then we'll just go back and forth. You got your list ready?
Yeah, I'm going to have to pull up my Letterboxd list, so excuse me, I'll be using my phone for this video.
All right, I've got mine pulled up on the screen over here. What is your number one draft pick for Noirvember 2024?
My number one draft pick is from the Bogart and Bacall collection, and it is The Big Sleep.
The Big Sleep. Okay, that's interesting.
Yes, it is a Howard Hawks film. So, I mean,
one of our favorites?
Yes, that was my initial draw because Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, His Girl Friday.
His Girl Friday is so good. And we just watched Gentlemen Prefer Blondes earlier this year.
Yes, I know. And I love Bogart. We've been watching him in a few noirs recently. And I haven't seen any of theirs together, I don't believe. And so that's exciting to watch because I know obviously they've done 4 in this collection together. So who knows, maybe another one will appear on my list later.
3 of those are noirs, so maybe so.
Yeah, maybe. But
not on my list, so.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
good so far.
My number one is a Criterion film. Everybody knows I love Criterion. Trying to get through as many as I can this month, so you'll see Criterion pop up on my list quite a bit. And this is a film by Louis Malle, Elevator to the Gallows. I love Louis Malle. He is a fascinating director. He makes anything. Like, I've seen his live action cartoon children's film, Zazie Dans La Metro, which I watched.
Okay.
He also did the weird, creepy, dark fairy tale Black Moon. He's also done My Dinner with Andre, which is very different than anything. And here he did a noir film. That's what's interesting about this. You mentioned Howard Hawks. You've got these directors that are famous for other things that they went on to do, but a lot of them started with simple, low-budget films, and they all seem to have done a noir at some point. So we'll see a couple of my favorite directors on this list. And here's one of them, Louis Malle, Elevator to the Gallows. I'm going in basically just on the director. That's kind of what I'm doing for a lot of these. It's filmmakers, it's directors. I try not to look too much into the plot because I don't like to know. I like to be surprised. And noir, most of what is special about it is the plot. It's all about the plot. So I'm trying to go in blind on some of these. But this is 1958. It's an early film by this director that I love a lot. So I can't wait to check it out. And I think it's in French, I believe. Yes, it's in French. So I tried to get some international ones on here. I don't know if you did or not, but we'll see.
That's a lot of what I'm doing actually too. I'm looking a lot at the directors and actors mainly.
Yes,
and
that's
then
true.
trying not to look at a lot of the plot. So with that being said, my next pick is by Roald Walsh. I guess, is that how you say his name? Roald Walsh?
Yeah.
Don't know. And it is The Roaring Twenties.
The Roaring Twenties. You just picked that one
And
up.
I don't know if this is technically a noir, but according to Google it is. So we're going to classify it as a noir for these purposes, mainly because I just really want to watch it.
There's a thin line between just crime dramas during this time period and noirs.
Exactly.
I think it's fine.
So I think it'll fit. But this is, I think, Bogart's first film, or maybe first noir. But since we've been watching a lot of him, and we also recently watched High Sierra, which was Walsh's other noir that's in the collection. Yes, with Bogart.
Same duo.
So very interested to check this one out. I was super excited when Criterion announced this one because it just seems right up my alley. So I've been wanting to watch this for a while anyway, so I just thought I'd squeeze in Noirvember.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
I am going to go, speaking of Bogart, for my number 3.
Okay. Oh no, now I'm scared.
I am going to go with In a Lonely Place for my number 3. I have heard great things about this one. Ever since I first got into Criterion, so many good things I've heard about this one. It's got like a 4.5 on Letterboxd.
Jeez.
It's got like a crazy high score. I don't know if that's exactly right, but it's very high.
A lot of these do.
And this is 1950, another Bogart one. I was never crazy about this artwork because it's not artwork. It's just a photo from the film. I'm not crazy about those when they do that, but I've heard great things about this. This is a Nicholas Ray film. Who did Rebel Without a Cause, Johnny Guitar, which has an Indicator release that I want to get. That's pretty cool. But he's a huge director. He's done tons of things, but this is his noir film from 1950 with Humphrey Bogart. It's supposed to be excellent.
So we have 3 Bogart films so far.
Well, you're a huge Bogart fan. I'm surprised you didn't pick this one. I thought I was going to be stealing this one from you, but I wanted it pretty high up there. I wanted to finally check this one off my list, and that is In a Lonely Place. Specifically on this channel, I've got tons of comments recommending that I check this out. So happy to finally check that one off the list. In a Lonely Place is my number 2.
My next one is another one that might be kind of a controversial noir pick. Not entirely sure if it's classified as noir, but again, according to Google, it is. So it is Ace in the Hole with director Billy Wilder.
Billy Wilder.
And I couldn't, it was on our noir list, and it had Billy Wilder as the director. So I was like, how do I not choose that? We love him.
Billy Wilder's amazing. We mostly know him from comedies.
The Apartment.
The Apartment. Yeah. Didn't he also do Some Like It Hot?
Some Like It Hot, yep. And he did Double Indemnity too, though.
Oh, we just watched that recently, so that's perfect. Yeah, I left this one off because I wasn't sure if it counted as noir. It's not listed there on Letterboxd, but I'm sure it's going to be great. That's one I've wanted to watch for a long time.
Double Indemnity is like the biggest noir in the collection, and he did it. So maybe this is kind of a noir too.
I don't know.
This is how I'm choosing these things. It's very arbitrary.
We'll see. They'll let us know in the comments for sure, but it's going to be a great movie. I've heard great things about that one, and I've wanted to watch it forever, so...
It's on my list.
Just for personal reasons, I'm glad you picked it. My number 3 is Pickup on South Street.
Oh, another Criterion.
Very iconic Criterion cover that we see all the time. Again, from the 50s, this is 1953, and I am taking this one solely on subscribers' recommendations.
Oh, okay.
Lots of comments about this one. Did a live stream this Monday, like I always do, going over the new releases, and like 4 or 5 people mentioned that I should watch this one in Noirvember. This is Samuel Fuller's Pickup on South Street. He is big in Criterion. There's a lot of his stuff. His big ones in the Criterion are Shot Corridor and The Naked Kiss, which I don't think technically count as noirs, but I definitely want to hit this one. This is his big classic noir film, and I want to watch this first, and if I like it, I'll go on to those other 2 films from him as well.
I'm excited you picked that, because I almost picked that one, but then I was like, I know he's going to pick a bunch of Criterions, so I didn't pick it hoping you would, so that worked out for me. Yeah,
I tried to stay away from too many spoilers on this one, but like I said, just purely for recommendations on the channel alone, and they say it's great, so I'm really looking forward to checking that one out.
My 4th one is a George Cukor noir. Do you know what that would be? Gaslight.
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 No, that's from Warner Archive Collection.
Yes, with Ingrid Bergman. And we love George Cukor. Philadelphia Story. I grew up with My Fair Lady, which I adore. So I'm super excited to check out his world of noir because it seems very different than the other stuff that I've seen him do. And I think it's kind of like Haunted Mansion vibes too, which is interesting. If you've seen this one, let me know.
1944, a newlywed fears she's going mad when strange things start happening at the family mansion. Interesting. Well, that sounds fun.
We're going to figure out.
You're getting some variety on here for sure. That's cool.
I'm trying.
I love George Cukor, and it's not a director I got on my list, so I'm really glad you picked that one. What is my number 4? Let me go back to my list here.
I'm trying not to look.
Oh, okay, this is great. This is one I've wanted to watch for a long time. And it is...
I'm scared.
Rafifi.
That's
is
been on my list
4.
too.
This is one I've wanted to watch forever. It's another French film, so I've already got 2 French. I didn't want to do any repeats, but I had to get this one on the list. This is one that has been mentioned on the channel again many times. In our Criterion Hall videos, people throw this at you a lot because you've been you're the one who really kicked this off because you've been really getting into noirs lately. You've been making me watch a lot more noirs. Not against my will. I enjoy watching them with you. I don't like them quite as much as you, but it's been fun. And this is one that was recommended. I didn't even tell this to you yet. I was at Barnes & Noble recently looking through the French Dispatch book for Wes Anderson. And he has like a crash course of French films in that book, like some of his favorite French film stuff you have to watch. And this was on the list,
of course,
which is crazy. But there you go. It's a heist film that I think counts as a noir. It's from 1955, and it is directed by Jules Dassin. I'm not exactly sure how to say his name. Still working on my French, but he is a huge director in noir. He did this one in France. This one's in French, and then he came to America and kept making them. I kept pulling them off the shelf, and I noticed that they were all by the same director.
Those
He
are
did
all him?
Naked City, Night and the City. He did Brute Force. Like, those were some that I wanted to check out.
Interesting.
But I bumped him off my list because I didn't want to have too many from the same director. So I'm going to go with Rafifi this time. Maybe if you steal some of mine, I'll have to go to my reserves and pick up one of those. But for right now, the one solo Jules Dassin film on my list is going to be Rafifi, and I can't wait to check it out. It's been on my list for quite a while. And I thought that was one that you were going to steal. Oh, I stole one?
It's on my list.
Oh, we have our first steal of the day.
So the first steal has happened, but that's okay. I'm excited to watch it, so it doesn't matter who picked it.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, but it's just fun.
All right, my next one is one that I'm worried might be on your list.
That's fine. We'll do a tit for tat.
I think it's one of the most popular noirs of all time, so we couldn't go through Noirvember without watching it. The Maltese Falcon.
Maltese Falcon. That is probably the most famous noir of all time. And we neither of us
And another
have seen
Bogart.
it. And another, well, he's going to show up.
Racking them up,
He's
man.
going to show up so much on this list. But no, obviously that's one I've wanted to watch for a long time. Didn't put it on my list.
No, and
I actually went for the more, not obscure, but like I actually left those for you.
Because you knew I would pick all the
figured you were
mainstream
gonna pick
ones.
those ones. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is also part of the Noir Bar book. So
Exactly.
we're
We
going to
got
have
this
to
back
make
here.
a cocktail to go with the Maltese Falcon.
Definitely.
when we
We'll be
watch
making some
it.
cocktails with our movies this month as we go through. But that's a great pick.
Yeah.
That's the one that you
I feel
hear
like
the
that was
most
just
about.
like essential watching for Noirvember.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it.
You have to.
One of us had to choose it. So
We've seen
I'll be the
Double
guy.
Indemnity. We've seen Laura. We've
Yeah.
seen some of the big ones. Have not seen that one yet. So I'm very happy to watch that one with you, of course. And that's another reason why we wanted to do this. We wanted to catch up because we're way behind on film noirs. We need to catch up. The reason, if you don't know,
Where have they been all my life, though? Like, these movies were made for me. Why have I not been watching them?
well, they're great. And the reason that we have all of these, if you don't know, even though we haven't seen most of them, is because a friend of ours who was also a film collector passed away. Was it last year or 2 years ago? A couple years ago already. Crazy. And he was a huge noir fan. And his wife was, trying to give his collection to a good home, so we bought out a lot of his collection, and that's why we have so many of these that we haven't seen. So we're trying to rectify that and watch through a bunch of these, kind of in his honor,
yeah.
just because you've been really liking it lately. So my number 4 is another Criterion, and it's right here on the bottom of the list.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna grab it quickly, and it is The Breaking Point.
Oh, okay.
A very look at that.
Curtiz? Is that Curtiz?
Look at you.
I'm
Look at you.
proud of myself.
It is The Breaking Point, another one from 1950, and it's directed by the great Michael Curtiz, who
Casablanca.
we obviously love. I've seen a ton of his stuff. Casablanca, White Christmas, we watch every year. That's kind of a different film. Mildred Pierce is probably the best noir I've ever seen, or at least my favorite noir
He's got range,
I've
man.
ever seen.
Yeah.
Adventures of Robin Hood, Captain Blood. Last year we watched Mystery of the Wax Museum and Dr. X.
Oh, those are his?
Pre-code horror
that.
films. This time last year in October. He's done a ton of stuff. He's done, like I said, the adventure stuff with Errol Flynn, the horror stuff, and several noirs. If this is anywhere near as good as Mildred Pierce, I'm going to absolutely love it.
Mildred Pierce was great.
One of the best. So I had to get a Michael Curtiz on here. That is The Breaking Point. Very simple, clean, black and white cover. Kind of looks like the Roaring Twenties that you have. So yeah, that's my number 4. 5? Oh, we're already on number 5. We're halfway through.
I'm on number 6, baby.
Let's do it.
And with that, my number 6 is The Lady from Shanghai with Orson Welles and Rita Hayworth. So it's also directed by Orson Welles. So those were my draws. It was the names for this one, 100%. Also, this is the one that I was talking to you about that I feel like you're going to like because it has like a scene that takes place at an old carnival. Like, yeah, and like funhouse mirrors and stuff. Yeah,
Speaking
and
of Orson Welles.
I think you're kind of gonna like it. I don't know anything about it. I saw some like stills of the film that were in like a carnival, and I was like, oh, DJ needs to watch that noir.
Well,
so I had to pick it.
Our friend Connor will be very happy that you picked that. He loves Orson Welles. He just watched through that recently. They just released a 4K of that, which is supposed to be a really, really nice transfer.
We only have the Blu-ray.
So if you like the movie, we might have to upgrade to that because that's supposed to be really great. My number 6 is another director that I like quite a bit, and it is The Asphalt Jungle by John Huston. I'm going for a lot of 50s. I'm not trying to go for 50s movies.
Just happening.
But this is just what it worked out as. So this is John Huston, who did The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, which you need to see. I love that movie.
And he did Maltese Falcon.
The African Queen, who we watched together. Oh, cool. So we got 2 John Hustons on here. I didn't realize that. Maybe I should have picked something else. But this is a classic Criterion that goes back a long way. I've heard a lot of great things about this one. I love the director. Huge director. He's done tons of stuff. Very famous. I haven't seen enough of his stuff, so I wanted to check another one off the list. And it stars... Who does it star?
Oh my gosh, is that Marilyn Monroe?
Yeah, it's Marilyn. She's on the poster. The poster is just Marilyn Monroe.
I'm obsessed with her.
I don't know if she's a main character. She's pretty far down on the cast list.
She's on the cover.
But, well, she's Marilyn Monroe. Of course they're going to put her on the cover, but she's pretty far down the cast list. Let us know how involved she is in this plot, but it's about a big jewel heist, someone who recently paroled from prison, all the big heavy hitters from noir films. Like I said, trying to stay a little bit in the dark about the plot so I can be surprised, but mostly going off the crew for these films. And John Huston, you gotta watch that one. So there we go. That is The Asphalt Jungle. Great title as well.
About that one.
Another one that is in the Noir Bar book. And there's a cocktail that goes with it. Also The Breaking Point, my last one. So we're gonna have a lot of cocktails to drink while we watch some lovely, dark, very dark, sad stories this month to lift our spirits.
Drown our sorrows.
Lift our spirits with spirits.
Okay. My next one is a Criterion film.
Oh, she's in Criterion.
And it is, I'm going to see if you can figure it out, Charles Vidor? No?
Charles Vidor.
I don't know if that's how you say his name. It doesn't look like it would be a noir just because of the spine.
Oh,
but it is Gilda.
I specifically did not pick that one because I
knew I was going to pick it.
Just like the Roaring Twenties, you picked that up in a Criterion Hall.
I did
a couple of years ago,
and we haven't had a chance to watch it.
So what's that? And that one's definitely in the book with a cocktail that goes with it, and an appetizer that goes with it.
And also, I just realized as we were doing this, I picked 2 Rita Hayworths back to back, and I don't know if I've ever seen her in anything. I feel like I probably have. I'm just not thinking of what I've seen her in.
And she's a blonde in that, which is weird because she's dark in this. She plays both.
Yeah. So I'm super excited to check this out. I feel like it's, again, just one of those huge noir films that you have to see. And so...
What drew you to that one when you picked it up at the store? I know you picked that one up early. That was one of your first that you picked up.
I think it's just Rita Hayworth's name. Like, I've always heard about her, but never really seen her in anything. At least when I bought this, I hadn't. And also just the line of a much lusted after wife of a criminal kingpin. I mean... Yes. I
think that's 40s. So you've been doing a lot of 40s. I've been doing a lot of 50s. Hopefully we get some 60s in here at some point.
The board, I feel like.
That's true. You might have some later stuff. Anyway, Gilda.
Gilda.
Classic. Crazy pink spine that stands out on the shelf. Really confuses things. It's really hard to find a place to put it back there. My next one is right here on top. It's got a lovely digipack release from Criterion. It's Sweet Smell of Success from 1957. This is directed by Alexander McKendrick, and it stars Tony Curtis and Burt Lancaster. You can see him right there on the poster. It's another one I've heard great things about. Again, this Criterion sells itself.
That release is beautiful.
Beautiful artwork. I kind of wish we got more of these for noirs. Usually we don't get this kind of treatment. It's got a nice thick booklet in here. Again, this is just one I've heard great things about. Sorry if you're looking for us to kind of recommend these to you. We can't do that yet. We're going to watch through. At the end of the month, maybe. Stay tuned to the end of the month, and then we'll talk about all the things we've watched and make recommendations and rank maybe our favorites at the end of the month. This is just our initial kickoff video for the monthly challenge that we're doing in November. So yeah, this is another great one, or at least I've heard it's great. And it's also got a great cast. Tony Curtis from some other wonderful Criterion movies, Winchester 73, which we both watched. That's coming to the collection next year. Some Like It Hot, which we watched together. You love that one. That's one of your favorites. He's in that with Jack Lemmon. And he's also in another really fun movie with Jack Lemmon called The Great Race, which you haven't seen yet, but it's a really fun, like, live action cartoon that I want to show the kids pretty soon. But yeah, familiar with Tony Curtis. It also has Burt Lancaster, which we just watched in The Swimmer recently. Much older performance.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of the whole point of The Swimmer. I don't want to spoil anything about The Swimmer. Watch The Swimmer. Not a noir, but a fantastic movie. But yeah,
interesting.
I'm excited to see both of those guys going toe-to-toe against each other in this noir film this month. Sweet Smell of Success. Great title, too. So many great titles in these noir films.
My next one is by a pretty famous director that I have sadly not seen any of his filmography. You have.
Oh, okay.
But I have not. So I'm going to rectify that this month.
Do I like him?
And I think you like him. So we're going to I'm going to watch my first Fritz Lang film.
Fritz Lang! Oh, you got to watch M.
And it is
Oh, you have. You've seen Scarlet Street.
Oh, that's right. I have seen Scarlet
Another
Street.
noir that we've already watched.
So I've seen one.
It's excellent.
I'm going to expand my Fritz Lang filmography with Fury.
Hey, that is a classic. It's got Tracy in it.
Yeah.
Who's the girl? Sylvia Sidney? I don't know her.
I don't know her.
But Spencer Tracy, that's amazing.
So again, the names are what drew me to this one, and also the rating on Letterboxd. I'm not gonna lie. So
very high.
Yes, that's why I'm watching this one.
That's got to be very early. Fritz Lang was like very innovative in the whole noir.
1936.
Yeah, he was he helped create the noir genre with his really early stuff. So yeah, that'll be awesome to check that off the list. I love 30s movies. That's good
that we have a Lang on here. I feel like it was necessary.
Speaking of Fritz Lang, this is just how it worked out. I'm not changing anything. My number 8 is right here on top. Ministry of Fear, which is some incredible kind of Art Deco artwork that I've seen on the shelf for a long time. Love this release. Right there, huge, directed by Fritz Lang right in the front. Ministry of Fear. This is the only other Criterion I have from Fritz Lang. Like I said, M is amazing. Watch that. Did a podcast on that with Connor last year. Absolutely love that one. So it's already one of my favorite directors, and it includes one of my favorite settings for film. Let me read this to you because it's great. Stephen Neill is released into World War II England after 2 years in an asylum. I love whenever we get asylums on film. I think it's a great cinematic setting. I don't know how much of it's going to take place in there, but he's at least being released from there. And then it says, but it doesn't seem so sane outside either. So he's being released because the world has been turned upside down during World War II. Everything's different. And I can't wait to check that one out. It's got a lovely, enticing cover there with him in the fedora right there. And then the World War II plane flying over top. It stars Ray Milland, who we just watched in October for Spooktober in The Uninvited.
Oh, yeah.
Ghost Story. And we loved him.
Great.
He was great in that. He's got very
Cary Grant
mannerisms in his face, especially when he delivers like the dry comedy. I don't know if this will have that or not. It might be more serious, but it's got a great poster, and you can't go wrong with Fritz Lang. I haven't even looked at the rating on that one because I've been wanting to watch that one for a long time. Great Criterion release. So that is my number 8. Just got 2 more, last 2. What is your number 9?
Crazily enough, mine also has to do with an asylum.
Oh, look at that. I think it's weird. Spooky things are happening.
I know. We just keep getting connections. And it is, I can't find it. Kiss Me Deadly.
Kiss Me Deadly. I remember you saw that on the last Criterion hunt that we did in July, and you almost picked it up, and I was like, we already have that one at home. That was one of Paul's collection.
Thanks, Paul.
You really liked the description of her on the back. She seemed like a boss.
Yeah, all of it seems amazing, and she actually escapes from an insane asylum in the beginning of this.
That's amazing.
And is hitchhiking, and he picks her up. So that's like the start of it all. So I just love that we just keep having these like bounce off each other moments right now with our noir picks.
Well, I don't know if it's going to continue with this one because this is my most obscure on the list.
All right.
It is in the book. It's in the Noir Bar book, and that's why I put it on here, but it's not a Criterion.
Okay.
It is another boutique label, though, one that I only have a few of. This is the most recent addition to our collection, and this is not one that came from Paul. I found this recently at Half Price Books with you in one of our haul videos. It's High Tide. This is an amazing release from, I need to stop holding it to the front because it's not going to focus because it's focusing on our faces. This is a double pack, a double noir, like a double feature, The Guilty and High Tide, which are made by the same team, and both came out in 1947. I'm going with High Tide. This is directed by John Reinhardt, who I don't think I'm familiar with. I think he's a lower budget filmmaker. This is his most famous film, or actually The Guilty is. High Tide is second. But I read through the description in the Noir Bar book, and it kind of sold me. Also, there's a cocktail that goes with it. It'll just be a whole fun thing. And I wanted to watch this because I got this Flickr Alley release recently, and I wanted to check it out. I wanted to check out some, because that's what's fun about noir is some of them are much more underappreciated. And that's what Eddie Mueller, who wrote the Noir Bar book, he's a super noir nerd, and he pulls out these less popular ones, less famous ones. I wanted to get one of those on the list that wasn't like a big Criterion like classic that everybody knows about. So I'm going with High Tide. That is an early 1947 one, and look at that. That's actually for The Guilty, but there's High Tide. That's the original poster right there. which is awesome. I love these Flickr Alley releases. They actually have a ton of noirs that they put out. My friend Jeffrey just picked up like 10 of them. Very, very cool. He went to like a noir film festival and picked up a ton of the Flickr Alley ones. So I gotta get more of those, but I'm gonna start with that one, checking that one off the list. The cast on that one is mostly like unknowns that we're not familiar with, but the lead guy is Lee Tracy, who we saw in Dr. X last year, and Julie Bishop is the lead female, and she was in The Black Cat. So 2 appearances in like those pre-code horror. So there's gonna be some crossover with like, the lower budget horror in that period, like 30s and 40s, and also they did noirs as well. So it'd be fun to see some familiar faces. Don't know too much about that one, but very happy to get that one on the list. And this is it, our last one.
All right, that was my last.
Can't believe we only had one crossover.
I know, that's kind of crazy. All right, I had to pick this one just because it's a super famous director and it's a noir, which I don't think I've seen a noir by him. Alfred Hitchcock's The Wrong Man.
Oh, yes! I'm so glad you picked that one. That was this close to making my list. It is a Hitchcock film, first of all.
Henry Fonda.
Henry Fonda, that's what I was going to
12
say.
Angry Men.
Henry Fonda is the best character of all time in 12 Angry Men.
So good.
He's so amazing. And I've never seen him in a Hitchcock film. And The Wrong Man seems like the quintessential Hitchcock film, because that's like a whole genre of what he does. Like the man in the wrong place at the wrong time. He does it with Jimmy Stewart, he does it with Cary Grant, and now he's doing it with Fonda.
And it also has Vera Miles, who's in Psycho.
My favorite Hitchcock film?
Lila Crane.
Interesting. Okay, cool. I'm so on board for this one. I almost picked this one, so I'm glad you got it.
I had to choose it as my last. It was actually a little bit lower, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna scoot it up. And so it was 11. So because you chose one.
Oh, because I chose Rafifi. Okay, well that worked out.
It got in the list.
That worked out. All right, sweet. Well, my last one, I wanted to get, like I said, other countries in here. I had a French movie in here. I wanted to get some other ones. Like I had an Italian movie that was in my honorable mentions. That was like right at number 11. But I'm going to go with Japan. I wanted to get a Japanese noir on this list. And I'm going to go with the big one from Criterion. Another one that has been recommended to me a ton. This is later. I'm glad we got a later one in here as well. This is all the way from 1963. And it is Akira Kurosawa's High and Low. High and Low is one I've heard a ton about. Is another one that's been recommended to me a ton on the channel. Every time we do like a haul video and we see it in the store, people in the comments are shouting at me to get it. Well, I already have it.
We have it.
And I've been putting it off for a while. I've seen a couple Kurosawa. Obviously, they were samurai films. I have not seen. This is a completely different Kurosawa that I'm not used to. It is a longer one. It's 143 minutes.
Whoa.
So it's not, we're getting out of noir at this point. It's 1963. Okay. So we're doing a little bit different things. These are all like in and out 90 minutes. This is, I don't know. This is a completely different thing. I'm very excited to check it out. I won't talk about the actors or anything because I'm not super familiar with Kurosawa. It's kind of a blind spot for me. But I've seen a couple of his more traditional films, and I wanted to watch one of his non-traditional films. High and Low, very, very interesting. Like the fact that the art that they're selling it on is just a guy on a phone makes me feel like this is going to be a much more just conversational, like low-key film. Not running around with swords and attacking people like samurais, but a little bit more low-key Kurosawa. And you've never seen Kurosawa.
I have not.
So yeah, this will be exciting.
It'll be an interesting
It's a very heavy release. I don't know.
It is. It feels like there's something in there.
It must have a lot of multiple discs or a big, thick booklet in there. But that's one of Paul's, so I'll be excited to check that one out because I don't know if he ever saw it because it's still sealed.
Yeah.
So that is my number 10. The honorable mentions that I had that I was hoping to get to. We'll just throw out a couple here. I was going to mention Detour, which is really iconic Criterion cover that I've seen a lot of. If you had stole some of mine, I would have picked Detour. Also, Odd Man Out, which is another big one, directed by Carol Reed, who is the director of Third Man, which we both loved, The Third Man. And then my last honorable mention is from the World Noir Volume 1 box set. There's a French one in here, but I already had a French film, already had a Japanese film, but there's an Italian film in here that I really wanted to get to, Witness in the City. Very interesting. I have not seen an Italian noir, so maybe we'll find a way to squeeze that one in if I really want to, but that would just miss my list.
And I have a few as well. I actually have like 6, but I'll only show like 3. I have Touch of Evil.
Ooh, see, we shouldn't say this because they're going to be mad that we didn't.
Orson Welles.
Oh, and that one too.
Sunset Boulevard and Key Largo, another Bogart. So
maybe
there's just too many.
Yeah, there's too many. Like I said, we'll do this next year. We'll do it the year after that. It's going to be a recurring segment here on the channel. Hopefully we have a lot of fun doing this. Hopefully you don't get too depressed throughout the month watching all these downers.
It's going to be fun. But y'all let us know what we should prioritize. Like, what are your favorites of the ones
That's
that
true.
we
We need your
chose?
help. Let us know in the comments which of these are your favorites. But it's a solid month of some great classics. I went heavy on the Criterions. You've got a lot of Criterions in there as well. Whoa! I almost dropped them all. Cannot wait to do this with you this month. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for having this idea.
Yeah.
This was basically your idea. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to try to make it fun. Maybe we'll do some posts. Stay up to date on our Letterboxd, so you can follow us on there. Links will be in the description. You always write after everything you watch, so you can recommend those there. I'm going to try. I'm going to try to leave some reviews on these. And at the end of the month, we'll do a big wrap-up video where we recommend our favorites, rank them. Thank you guys so much for watching. A little bit of a longer video today, but thank you for hanging in there with me. We'll talk to you in the comments down below. But until next time, keep collecting, and we'll be back at the end of the month with a wrap-up video real soon.